Okay, I'm remaking this video because the audio in my last video was pretty shitty and I got a brand new mic. But anyways, oh man, I swear to God. First of all, I'm going to come out and say that the reveal of the Xbox One, and yeah, that's a stupid fucking name, was shit. It was complete and utter shit. And first of all, that name was dumb. Xbox One. Yeah, I know. To be the one console that you'll ever need, the one desktop, I mean, whatever, in your living room. But my problem is that Microsoft's kind of stuck in the past here on a few things. Yeah, they're going towards the casual gamers, but to tell you the truth, I really didn't care about that. And I'm fine that Microsoft doesn't have backwards compatibility with their old controllers. Even that's the only decision that actually makes sense. But they are doing some other pretty stupid things, like the other backwards compatibility, because if you guys remember, the original Xbox had an x86 processor in there along with an NVIDIA graphics card, and then they had the Xbox 360, which was a PowerPC with an AMD graphics card. And now they have the Xbox One, which will have an x86 processor and an ATI graphics card, which is the same as the AMD because ATI bought them out. And yet they can go apparently from x86 to PowerPC, but they can't go from PowerPC to x86. What the fuck? Seriously, Microsoft? I mean, I can understand Sony. I mean, their cell processor was way fucking overpowered on the PlayStation 3. So crossing the cell processor games into the PS4 is just not going to help. Or just happen. There's just no fucking way. But my real problem with the Xbox One and the god awful stupid name is the simple fact that I pretty much think that Microsoft has their head in the past. I mean, everybody kept going after Nintendo, saying, "Oh, you're stuck in the past, not in the future." Nintendo may be stuck in the past, but they made their console more simplified. And basically, all they did was create a remote from their controller. The console really isn't anything to do with your TV set. It's just, that big ass controller with the touchscreen in the middle. That TV button and that TV app, and along with that LED light or whatever that's in the front of the controller that allows it to control the TV, all that was an afterthought. Nintendo just stuck that in at the last moment because look for that TV button in the original demo model of the gamepad controller. You won't see it. It was put in afterwards. When they fixed the analog sticks and all that other shit. But basically, Nintendo just, was just making a successor to the Wii and calling it the Wii U. Yeah, not a very good name. And yeah, I think Xbox One is a stupider name. No matter how many times I hear it, it's just dumb. Because, they want to be Xbox One, that one console in there. Or if you keep saying 111, it sounds like I won or Xbox One. God, that's fucking stupid. But yeah, my theory still holds. I mean, Microsoft is stuck in the past way, way worse than Nintendo is. Except that, Microsoft's using better tech than what's in the Wii U. Better graphics card and better RAM. 8 gigs of RAM, which most of that RAM is going to be probably soaked up by that 3 gigs of, then by those 3 OSs. I don't even want to get into that. Emulating OSs on top of each other always comes out as a fucking clusterfuck. Especially if you're going to do it 3 fucking times. But the Xbox reveal was bad, mainly because of its TV. Now, with the 3 OSs, technically and theoretically, the snap will work, even though it will be a RAM hog, but the snap features will work. The problem is that there will be other clusterfucks in other area, mainly RAM. And not forgetting that this is Windows 8, which, by the way, is not selling very well for Microsoft at all. One will be used for games, one will be used for television, and one will be used for all the other apps, like Skype and all those other apps, maybe Netflix. And by the way, the reason why I say that Microsoft's in the past here is that Sony technically knew what they had to do now with the PlayStation 4. First of all that multimedia shit and all that multimedia capabilities, besides hooking into your television and controlling it, that's already available. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have the ability to, you know, uh, control your TV set, but it doesn't need that. It doesn't need it. Hell, Nintendo didn't need it. It was just a nice add-on, but it's just not really worth it. I mean, yeah, the app that's now used to control all that Nintendo TV II was made by the same people who made the iOS and Android app that that was called iTV. But Sony realized we don't need any of that shit because we've already got multimedia ability on the PlayStation 3 and soon to be 4. Why do we need to add more useless features to this for multimedia? It's already there. And what I mean is, you got Netflix and Hulu and things like Amazon Instant Video, and of course iOS, they've got iTunes. So there's no need to add any more of this extra stuff because cable boxes are losing money. And in fact, all television stations, NBC, CBS, and all of them, Sci-Fi Channel, you name it, they're all slowly losing viewerships because everybody is going towards internet streaming. And internet streaming is slowly killing off these national networks and the television. I mean, of course, you got these occasional big hits like Game of Thrones on HBO, but or Showtime shows. But after a while, they're going to die out too. Or you're just going to have to see some of these shows being dragged into like Hulu and stuff like that, and Netflix, because it's just more better to stream it off of the internet. Because yeah, I know that online streaming of video games is dead, like OnLive. But that's a completely different story because you're not just sending information, you're also receiving. And then when you go into the multiplayer games, the whole thing just fucking fucks up and you've got a complete shitfest right there. It's just unplayable. But with streaming movies, it's all going one direction. It's just so simple and so easy. And you can just buy your movies and stream it and all that other crap. This is a and with Sony, when they had their PlayStation 3, they were counting everything on Blu-ray and Blu-ray to become next greatest thing. And Blu-ray hasn't taken off yet. Yes, it's in the video games now, but that's because taking gamers from going from physical to digital is a slow process. So this generation was going to stick with disc. But starting with Nintendo, they're allowing you to download full games. Of course, Nintendo kind of screwed up with the 8 gig and 32 gig, and then USB hard drive, external hard drive. And guess what? Microsoft's doing that too, but with a 500 gig hard drive. It's still not enough, Microsoft. And of course, a USB external hard drive for them too. Yes, Nintendo's 2.0 and Microsoft 3.0, but whatever. You're still going to end up getting an extra hard drive for that fucking Xbox One because, a gig is just not enough. I mean, 500 gigs still isn't enough. Let's just hope that Sony has some common sense and says removable hard drive. You could put any laptop hard drive into this thing, and as well as hooking up USB extendable hard drives as well as an option. That would be a dream come true for Sony. They would just kill it right there, make it one of the best consoles. Of course, also if they priced it at least around 400, about somewhere between 300 and 450, or maybe close to 500. But don't make it 600 I mean, yeah, 500's pushing it and killing the console, but don't make it like 599 again. That just killed the PlayStation 3. But these cable boxes are slowly are just going to be going away. And in 5 years from now, they're going to probably be gone and replaced with nothing but internet streaming and getting your television off of fucking the internet. I mean, hell, I don't even have cable. So I just stuck with internet. Why? It's easier. I can watch all my shows on the internet and I'm done. And here's Microsoft saying, oh, we're going to make a bed for a fucking device that probably won't be around for another 5 years. And to really send it home, we're going to have an HDMI port in and out ports on the back of our thing. When Nintendo, all they did was just say, oh, yeah, we're just going to have a TV button on our fucking controller that you could just use to flip on and off your television set and turn up the volume and change the channels around. But it really doesn't. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's kind of useless. And that Nintendo TV II that I have, really useless. I don't have cable or any fucking basic channels out here. Nothing. All my shows come from the internet now. So when the cable boxes go out, Nintendo, all they can do is just dump that Nintendo TV II and just leave the remote control, and that won't do shit to them. But fucking Microsoft, they're not just wiring it in there in software. They're wiring it in there with fucking hardware, like a bunch of fucking idiots. And they're making the Kinect compatible with it, which is a completely different discussion. And by the way, I think those heart detectors that they showed on the Kinect was a line of bullshit. You can show a bunch of reviewers, hey, look, this is your heartbeat, and they'll probably believe it. Because I find that just absolute bullshit. But then again, how many times has Microsoft lied to us in the past? A lot. The original Kinect was supposed to have heat censoring technology to track your body heat. Not in the final version of the Kinect. And they didn't. They pretty much covered that shit up. The test models they were bringing out there all had heat sensors. But that wasn't in the final version, was it? And besides, motion gaming died the instant fucking Steel Battalion, Heavy Armor, and Kinect Star Wars both came out. After that, motion gaming just never came back again. Never. It's still pretty much fucking down. I don't think it's ever going to get up. But yeah, it's my fondest belief that Microsoft, they have better technology, are having their heads in the past and going after something that nobody really needs anymore. I mean, the cable boxes are going to die and they're just not going to be around. So Microsoft is going after a piece of technology that's in the living room that's probably not going to be around in 5 or 6 years anymore. So, way to go, Microsoft. What other dead horses can you run after? Son of a bitches.